Hey mom and dad, friends, haters, anybody else watching this video. I turned 25 this year, and I have been wanting to make this video about 25 things that I've learned by the time I turned 25. I've been working on this list for a few years now, and I'm finally 25, and so I just wanted to share with you guys the things that I have learned by the time I turned 25. Literally every single person is a work in progress, so I have learned these lessons, but these are still things that I'm trying to apply to my life. Just because I've learned them already doesn't mean that I'm like perfect and like I get it right every single time. Life is just about growing and learning from past experiences, learning from others' experiences, and just, you know? Also, my camera might die, so we gotta get this show on the road. We don't have time to, like, you know, lollygag. So, let's begin. Lesson number 1, I'll be happy when is not a true statement, nor is it healthy. Pretty much telling yourself that you will be happy when a certain thing happens is just not a healthy way to live, nor is it a true statement. You shouldn't be happy once you gain something. You should learn to find happiness in whatever situation that you are in, because then you get those things and you're still missing something. I've learned to just work on yourself for yourself and learn to be happy with the little things in life. Literally the smallest things in life I can find joy in. Of course, there are certain things that like add to my happiness. I'm not waiting for certain things to happen to bring me joy. Lesson number 2, different friends serve different purposes, and you are who you hang around. People slash all of us maybe tend to put a lot of pressure on friendships. There's not a single person in the world who is perfect. You can't expect to find a friend that checks off like every single box, because chances are like you as a friend probably also don't check off every single box. I think at the bare minimum, like we should be sharing the same morals. There are some friends that are like good listeners, some friends that are good speakers, some friends that are good advice givers. We as individuals don't check off every single box for somebody else. So as long as you're sharing like the same morals, I think that's what's important. You could also have friends that are like super outgoing and like to party, and those are your friends that you go out and party with. But then you could also have friends that aren't really into that and like to stay home in pajamas, and both of them could be your closest friends. I'm a type of gal that I'm always in a different mood, you know. Sometimes I want to be home, sometimes I want to be out, and it's good to have a variety of friends that are interested in similar things, and what one friend might lack, the other friend might pick up on, and vice versa. Number 3, your body changes, and that's normal. I will say it one more time for the people in the back. Your body is going to change, and that is normal. I'm 25 years old. I'm not gonna have the same body that I had when I was an adolescent, and that is normal. It's called growing. It is literally anatomy. It is biology. It is what happens to your body. I had a very hard time seeing changes because for the longest time I like would never gain weight. Should never compare like your current self to like what you looked like in high school, because you're not a high schooler. Just don't compare yourself to your old self, pretty much. Not everything is about you. People suffer in ways that you don't understand. This is something I learned as an adult, but looking back, like I definitely didn't apply this in like high school situations. I feel like a lot of times when people treat us a certain way, like we take it very personally, obviously, because it's happening like to us. But if you really break down the way somebody is treating you, if you're like friends with somebody who treats you poorly, most of the time, if not all the time, it has nothing to do with you and it has everything to do with themselves. And so instead of taking it personally, why am I not worthy sort of question, it should be like, what are they going through? Why are they behaving in that way? I'm not giving excuses and saying that you like need to keep those people around. You can still choose to remove those people out of your lives. I'm just saying to never question yourself or your own self-worth because of the way somebody else was treating you. Next, some things are better left unsaid slash it's okay to not respond to things. Some people are okay with being told where they might have been wrong or where they might have hurt you or upset you or whatever. So if this person is like open to hearing what you have to say and how they might have hurt you, then it is better to tell them. That way you guys can work on it together. But then there are other people who are not open to receiving such words, and so those people, I feel it is better left unsaid, because me saying it obviously is not going to change who you are, and it's not going to change the situation. So I don't need to respond every single time. That doesn't mean don't stick up for yourself. I also feel like you can choose to remove those people if they're not willing to listen to how they have affected you in a bad way. If you know it'll go left, you don't have to respond. You can choose to remove them silently. I hope my words like don't get twisted, because I do think communication is key. However, know your audience pretty much, because a lot of what I'm saying is circumstantial. Everything in life is temporary. Your life can change in a split second. That's pretty self-explanatory. Like our lives are literally temporary, therefore everything in our lives are temporary. Get the tattoos, go to the concerts, be friends with who you want to be friends with, like live your life. Boundaries and the importance of it. Boundaries are so important. Boundaries are so important. Boundaries are so important. Like, I can't stress it enough. You have to like teach people how to treat you in a way. If you allow somebody to do something that hurts you and they just keep getting away with it and you don't defend yourself ever and you don't say anything and you just allow them to like have just, what is the word? Like, you just allow them to have like open access to you, that'll only end up hurting you in the long run. So it is very, very, very important to set boundaries. If there is somebody who you know is toxic in your life, maybe remove them. Maybe remove them. You could also choose to just avoid certain situations. Like, you don't have to say yes to every party. You don't have to say yes to every gathering. You can say no to things. Yeah, set those boundaries. Remove people that do not benefit you in your life. Limit your time with people that you feel don't benefit your life. Don't die on the hill of wrongdoings. It's okay to realize and own where you went wrong. Pride gets in the way a lot of time. All that means is that you're growing as a person if you realize later in life that you might have fucked up somewhere else. You can say sorry at any point in life. These sirens are driving me crazy. Like, are you done? Also leads me into, it's okay to change your mind / opinion. You can change your mind without being fake as long as you're not going back and forth between like two different opinions every single week. You can feel one way today and then tomorrow feel another way. Number 11, it's okay to have a different opinion than everyone else. We don't have to agree on everything. I feel like that is also pretty self-explanatory. Of course, when it comes to like moral things, it is important to be on the same page with people that you're having relationships with. But in the grand scheme of things, like, I can have a different opinion than everybody else in the room, and that doesn't mean that I'm wrong because I'm the only one with this one opinion. Nobody knows what they're doing. Literally nobody knows what they're doing. At 25, my parents had kids and were married. At 25 now, I'm in a relationship and I have a job, and that's about as far as it goes. Kind of looks like older generations like had it all together and like knew what they were doing because they like owned houses and shit. But like, times change, the economy changes, life changes, people change. Just because you don't know what you're doing at 25, at 30, at 50 doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, because literally nobody knows what they're doing. We don't know what we're doing until we learn what we're doing. And even then, there's gonna be something else you don't know. That's just how the cookie crumbles. It's okay to not have a plan. This kind of goes hand in hand with the last one. I don't know like what my next steps are in my career, for example. I know what I'm interested in, and I think that it would be really nice to work in that field. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna get there, and I'm not too stressed about it. I feel like I will get there on my own terms, in my own pace. I don't need to have a set plan. I'm sorry if you can hear these sirens. They're driving me crazy. They're so fucking loud. We get it. Like, emergency. Goodness. Pretty much, you don't need a plan in life to be successful. It's okay to forgive yourself for not knowing better until you knew better. There are things that I might have said or done as a literal child that I would hold myself accountable for. And then one day, I was like, why? Like, why am I blaming my childhood self for doing or saying something when I was a child and I literally didn't know any better? Not even just children, like as a grown adult, there are things that you will probably learn about later on in your adult life. So it is okay to forgive yourself for doing certain things that you might not have known better about. There's beauty and simplicity. It's the little things in life that make my life more enjoyable. I kind of like mentioned this earlier, but just being happy about the smaller things in life, I feel like adds to my quality of life. Everyone's timeline is different. We're kind of all on the same timeline in high school up until like college. Some people take like a gap year, some people go straight to college, some people graduate in 4 years, some people graduate in 5, 6, 7, some go for their master's, some don't. Like, some people don't even go to college. And I think that we're so used to being on the same timeline as everyone else that once you graduate high school, it's like some people are straight to having babies, some people are getting married, some people are working on their career. Everybody's timeline starts to change, and it's so easy to compare your timeline to somebody else's. Just because one person gets promoted doesn't mean I should be getting promoted. Some people get jobs right after college, some people struggle for a couple years. We're all gonna get to where we're supposed to be going. We're all at where we're supposed to be currently. Being selfish doesn't have to be a bad thing. Hot take. But like, I mean it. People use the word selfish as like such a bad thing. Like, it's bad to be selfish, and in some situations it is bad, but in other situations, like, it's not, bro. You are gonna be the number one person to look out for yourself. You have to be selfish in a lot of situations, unfortunately. Nobody's gonna care more about my happiness than I am, so I need to do what makes myself happy. In the process, I'm not gonna go out of my way to harm other people or to like hurt feelings or anything like that, but I am focusing on my life and like what I need to do for my own joy. Forgiveness does not require require reconnection. People tend to have this thing where like, if you choose to not have somebody in your life, then that means you haven't forgiven them for what they did. And that's just not true. Like, you can say sorry to me and I could believe you're sorry and I could forgive you for whatever you did, but that doesn't mean that like now we have to have a relationship again because you were sorry and I forgave you. Because realistically, like, you changing and being sorry now has nothing to do with me. Like, good for you that you learned from the lesson, but like, I don't have to now have you in my life because you learned a lesson. It's okay to say no. It's okay to leave early. I'm the queen of like showing up, leaving early. If people are counting on you to be somewhere, like, that's different. Like, don't be telling people you're gonna go somewhere and then not go. I just mean, at my age, I feel like I get invited to a lot of things and I'm not like a social butterfly. Like, some people might think I am. I'm truly not. It might look natural, but on the inside, I am dying. I will put myself out there. For example, if somebody invites me to something and I don't really know who else is going, I'll probably show up, but like, if I feel uncomfortable while I'm there, like, I will leave. Or if I'm super uncomfortable even before going, like, I could just say no. I don't have to show up to every single thing that I'm invited to. You can leave the party early, girl. You can. There is a gray area / another side of the story. Now, this is another hot take, and I hope I don't get no backlash for it. A lot of people tend to see things in like black and white, and there is a gray area in a lot of situations. Not everything is so this way or this way. Like, it could be two things at once. And I think that it is important to try to find the two things at once so that you're not so stuck in one way. Of course, in some situations, like, there is no gray area. It really is like, this is right and this is wrong. Find the middle ground. Find the middle ground if you can. How you speak to people matters, even if what you're saying is true. Just because like what you're saying is true to you doesn't mean that you are allowed to say it in a way that is disrespectful to other people. Here's the thing, you're not wrong for how you feel, but you can be wrong for how you approach a situation or how you communicate a problem with somebody else. Throwing in things that maybe don't have to be thrown in there just to like prove a point, because really at some point, like, now your message is just getting lost in all of the other nonsense that you're saying. Like, stick to what you're angry about and say it in an effective way, and don't go out of your way to hurt somebody's feelings. And if you do, then you have to realize the risk that you're taking, which is losing that person. It's okay to have an off day and then be your best self tomorrow. Like, I could feel this way today and then wake up tomorrow and just be in such a low mood. That doesn't mean that you're pretending. It doesn't mean you're acting. Like, it's just one day you might feel one way, the next day you might feel another, and that's normal. There are some times where I feel super like positive and like very optimistic. I'm just like, who is this bitch, you know? And then the next day I'm like, fuck this, fuck that, and fuck them. On days like that, I need to be alone. We don't have to wait until January 1st to start fresh. We can start fresh tomorrow. I think the new year, it's easier to start fresh because it's literally a new year. However, don't wait until the new year to work on things that you should be working on like currently. It is okay to wake up tomorrow and be a new bitch moving forward. You don't have to figure everything out at once. It is about baby steps, okay? I did not learn all 25 of these lessons in one day. These are things that I have learned over the span of years. So it's about slowly learning things and slowly applying changes to your life. You're not gonna be somebody who is like not into fitness at all, never works out, never eats clean, and tomorrow you're like a fitness guru. Like, everything happens gradually. And then lastly, your anxiety is lying to you. Your anxiety is lying to you. Not everything you think is true. Like, it might be your truth in that moment because it's your brain and your brain is controlling every single thing, which is so unfortunate sometimes. But not everything that your brain is telling you is the truth. Not everything that is happening inside is actually happening on the outside. Try to like be aware of when your brain might be fucking shit up for you. It really is just like, how am I gonna control my brain with my brain? Like, using my brain, I have to try to control my brain. Isn't that crazy? Life is really just about trying to gain control over your own thoughts. That's really what this game is here. The game of life. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. If you didn't learn anything, I hope you at least enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Okay, bye. Also, lesson number 26, self-love is important. Love yourself. Go talk to yourself in the mirror right now. Go tell yourself you're the baddest bitch ever. I don't care who you are. Go do it, okay?
Go tell me, have you seen her? Let me wrap my weave up. I'm the trap Selena. Dame my gasolina.